Today I'm doing something a little bit different to usual, something I've never done before, and that's a little bit of, I don't want to say storm chasing, but I'm going to try and photograph some thunderstorms. You might be able to see, you might be able to hear that it has started raining and the clouds are looking really quite moody. It's only about half an hour away from here, so I expect this weather we've got here should be very similar to what we've got over there. Made sure I brought my waterproofs with me, and I bought 3 different lenses with me, so I'm trying to capitalise on however the storms progress really. So I've got my 16 to 28 for those sort of wide angle shots. I've got my 28 to 200, so I've got a good range there from sort of wide-ish angle up to 200 mil, and I've got a 100 to 400, so I can really try and get some compression if the storms are quite far in the background. So yeah, this should be a lot of fun. As I say, it's something I've not done before, but as I say, only half an hour away, so we'll get there and yeah, see what we can find. I've arrived and it's absolutely tipping it down, as it has been pretty much all the way here. Now at the moment the windmill itself is looking a bit drab. The sky behind it is just flat grey. That's not what I'm after today. I'm after mood and drama, and hopefully some lightning. You know, I want to get some texture in the clouds, I want to get some detail, I want to make it really gritty and kind of moody. So what I'm going to have to do is just wait here for a bit, and hopefully this squall passes a bit. What we really want, if we can get it, is maybe a break in the clouds just over that direction, just lighting up the windmill there, but having those dark, moody clouds behind. Bonus points if we get a rainbow, but twice in 2 weeks, I don't think it's likely. But you never know. So yeah, I'm just got to wait and see what happens. Wait for a little break in the weather, but still have that drama in the background. Right, so while I'm waiting for the lights to change, I just thought I'd spin the car around because I had the window slightly open, the rain was coming in. It's, you can probably just see this on my face, it's just starting to brighten up quite nicely. So, I might start getting out there and framing some shots up. The rain's died down as well, which is quite nice. And I heard a massive clap of thunder just over here, so things are looking quite interesting. Let's get out the car and get something framed up. Oh. The essential rain jacket. Fortunately, it has stopped raining for the moment, but there's no guarantees it's going to stay that way. So, put it on now in preparation. And quite rare for me, but you'll see I'm actually wearing a cap. That's not some kind of new style thing for me. That kind of serves 2 purposes. One, I can use it as a bit of a shelter if it's raining in front of the lens, but also keep the water off my glasses to a certain degree. So it is looking quite nice out there. The light's quite nice. Loads of texture in the clouds. So let's go and see if we can grab a shot. Well, I'll tell you what, got a real distance to walk to get this shot framed up. The car's just there. But actually it's quite a nice spot because you've got a lovely lead in to the windmill there, and then some beautiful clouds, real moody looking textured clouds in the background there. It looks quite nice. The only thing I would say is that the crops that are here, I feel like they're too far to the left compared to when I've been here previously. It's a bit messy on the right hand side, I'm not sure. We'll see and frame something up. I'm thinking possibly something like a portrait orientation, but I'll frame it up first and then we'll talk you through it. We've got some nice light on the windmill at the minute though. It does look really quite nice. So I'm going to frame this up anyway. Right, so I've pretty much framed up the classic shot here. Gone for a portrait orientation. And as I mentioned a minute ago, you've got these crops leading up to the windmill there. Almost a bit of a sort of S-curve to it, leading up to the windmill, and then you've got these real dark, moody clouds above the windmill. It looks beautiful. place the windmill pretty much on the sort of bottom right hand third of the image, and I'm going to opt for something like a 4x5 crop on this, because just to the right of the crops there's this sort of grassy, muddy patch that looks a bit unsightly to me. So I really want to cut that out, so I'll crop off just the bottom slightly, crop off a little bit of the sky at the top, but give enough, give a good amount of breathing room for the windmill. It looks really nice. The light's really nice. It's got some lovely light on top of the windmill, some lovely light on the sails itself. Talking to the sails, they've only just been put back on within the past sort of 2 or 3 months, I'd say. Yeah, for the past sort of 3 or 4 years, they haven't been there, and it's not been worth coming here, to be honest with you. So yeah, really fortunate to get back out here today with the sails back on, and the light on it at the moment, as I say, is beautiful. So nice, simple shot to get in the bag. I'll put it on screen for you now. And just like that, the light's gone a bit poor again, to be honest with you. And the clouds have lost a little bit of the texture that they had a few minutes ago. There's some beautiful clouds over there. I just wish they were behind the windmill. But before I go on to the next shot, a few people in my last video have asked me about my new owl bracket that I've been using. It's not something I've been sent. I bought it myself. I actually got it on a recommendation from Justyn Crane from Evolving Photons. I'll put a link to his videos in the description below. But yeah, he showed me this on the Forms of Photography meetup in Cannock, and I thought that looks quite interesting, a little bit different. As you can see here, you've got the what doesn't actually look like an owl bracket. It just looks like a very chunky Arca Swiss plate, but it is, for all intents and purposes, an owl bracket. A reverse owl bracket, probably. But basically, yeah, it fits on the bottom of the camera here, and it's got a Peak Design capture clip there, which fits nicely into the Arca Swiss connector on my Leo Photo geared head here. But yeah, to switch from landscape to portrait, instead of actually having to take the camera off and physically turn it, you basically press this silver button here, and you can put it straight away 90 degrees, and you're in portrait orientation. Really quite cool. It's got a little spirit level here as well, so you can make sure you're nice and level. It goes even further than that, although I don't know why you'd use it, but if you press the button again, you can basically come around a full 90 degrees if your gear head's not in the way. But it's nice and solid, I must say. Feels really nice. 25 quid on Amazon. Seems to work quite well. I've only used it a couple of times so far, but I'm really enjoying using it. If anything, I'd say it probably makes things a little bit safer, because you're not having to constantly take your camera off the tripod to switch from landscape to portrait. It's just fixed there, and you just press the button to open and close it. So yeah, I'll put a link to it in the description anyway. I'm not sponsored by it for this. Not been sent it for free. I bought it with my own money. I just thought it was quite an interesting solution as a owl bracket, basically. One of the advantages you get as well is it's a little bit less bulky than an owl bracket, and the doors on that side of the camera are much more easily accessible. So far, it's a winner from me. So yeah, these really dark, moody clouds have come in now, as you can see just behind me. Definitely there's got to be some thunder and lightning in these clouds. There really has to be. But the detail and the texture in the clouds is really dark and foreboding. I've gone for a similar shot to what I took earlier, pretty much the same one. Portrait orientation. Might go for a 4x5 crop on this like the previous one. But actually I might leave more of the sky and just actually take more of the ground out. Make it really all about really the windmill and that incredible sky we've got going on there at the moment. It looks stunning. Might now also try a sort of landscape orientation, maybe a 16:9, or maybe stick to a sort of 3:2 crop, try and make something of the sky. What I might do is I might put my camera into velometer mode and just continually take shots. If I don't get any shots with lightning, it is what it is, I can't control that, but I might get, with this texture and these clouds going by, quite an interesting looking time lapse anyway. But for now, I'll put this photo on screen for you. Right, as you can see, I've got the intervalometer going here. I'm shooting at 200mm with the windmill on the right hand third. The rainstorm has pretty much passed now, but what we're left with now is some more real moody texture in the clouds, as you can see here. Really quite nice. So I'm going to get two things from this. One, hopefully a nice shot, because at the moment, or just a moment ago, the windmill was surrounded by a lighter part of the sky around it, so it was creating a natural vignette. It really was. And also, obviously, you know, that photo is going to turn out quite nice, but also should get a nice time lapse, which I'll probably use as a bit of B-roll. I am quite happy with this. I'm feeling like I need more. I need lightning. That's what I need. I need lightning. That's what I came here for. But yeah, you can't control the weather, can you? You really can't. Anyway, I'll put this photo on screen for you. And what I might start to think about doing now is heading out into the main field, as I mentioned earlier, and see if I can try and make something with some foreground. Maybe use the wide angle lens, really try and make some mood and drama with the wide angle lens of this sky. That's just the idea anyway. But for now, I'll put this on screen for you. So I've come into this main field here now and trying to make actually some use of this path. Now, it didn't work as well as I would hoped. It does feel like the actual path leads you kind of away from the windmill a bit, but it's okay. It's quite a nice image. It leads you up the hill at least. And we have got some lovely texture in the sky, real nice moody clouds. But to balance against the windmill, there's like a little sort of tuft of weeds or something here on the right hand side of the path. It's just giving a little bit of balance on that right hand side of the image to the actual windmill itself. It's a nice photo. Those of you who watched my latest video, when I was at the other windmill, Tyso Windmill, will see there's a distinct difference here, because this is such a busy, well-known, easily accessible windmill. Obviously it's very popular with tourists. So yeah, you know, they have as much right to be here as I do. So obviously you've got some guys there walking up towards the windmill. Just have to remove them in post. It's not a big issue these days with things like Gen AI and the removal tools. Not a problem at all, but I can see why it's such a popular location. I really can. You can probably hear I'm doing another interval shoot here. Again, 500 images, just letting it fire off, 1/25 of a second, and we should get some nice movement in these clouds as part of a time lapse, but hopefully as we go on as well, we should get some nice photos itself. The great thing with this is I can just kind of set it going. The downside is if the light changes, I can't adjust the exposure very much. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But I should get some nice images from this. I have purposely slightly underexposed so that if the light does suddenly come up a bit, I've got a bit more of an insurance policy with regards to making sure I've not blown out the highlights. But any of these work out, I'll pop them on screen for you. Right then, we've come up to the windmill now. Put the ultra wide angle lens on, 16-28 Sigma, and I've gone for two really basic compositions. They're, you know, they couldn't be more basic, and basically it is windmill, bang in the centre, and yeah, just making it all about the windmill. That's it really. But with the light that we've got, the soft light that you can see on the windmill here at the moment, and the texture and drama we've got in the sky, you know what? It's simple, but it works. sometimes that's the best thing, just keep it nice and simple. I've gone for 2 compositions, both at around 16mm, one in portrait and one in landscape. I think I'm preferring the landscape image because I've got basically this sort of stone wall going round the windmill here, just making a nice plinth for it really. By going portrait, you do kind of at 16mm lose the sides of the plinth, and I do think that's quite nice, but they're both quite nice in their own ways. With the portrait one, you've got the benefit of getting a bit more of this drama of the sky in, so, and a bit more breathing room at the top of the image. Really, as I say, really basic images, but you know what, sometimes simple's best. So I'll edit these and pop them on screen for you. Let us know what you think. Walking around for a little bit and trying to find some kind of interesting foreground to play with, and it's been really quite tricky because you've got all these sort of weeds here that's really quite messy around the edge of the windmill. I might actually come up here with a mower or something sometime. But I've actually found these daisies here. There's 3 of them, and they look quite nice, past their best I would say, but still makes a relatively interesting foreground interest. I've placed them pretty much on the bottom right hand third, and basically got the expanse of the windmill towards the top left hand third, but leaving enough space around the edge of the windmill to give it a little bit of breathing room. But by being low here as well and looking up at the windmill, I'm able to capture some of these clouds that got some lovely texture in them, so it's quite a nice scene. I've had to focus bracket because the flowers are really close to the lens. I'm at pretty much 16mm, f11, 1/60th of a second, ISO 400, just to try and freeze the motion because there is just a touch of motion there with the breeze that we have. I think it's about 45 minutes away from sunset, so I'm going to stick around here for a bit and see what happens with this sky, but I can't see it doing anything particularly dramatic because there's quite a big bank of cloud out there to the west. So yeah, put this shot on screen for you, but it might be the last shot of the day. Right then, I'm going to call it. You might think I'm being a bit premature here, but I can see a massive bank of cloud out to the west there, and the sun is at the moment actually looks incredible, but it's bright orange, but it's not really bringing across any light this way. There must be some kind of diffused moisture or something in the air that's stopping it from coming through, but it does look incredible. It really does. Bright, sort of orangey reddy colour, but it's not really putting any light on the land as such. Yeah, I'm going to call it. The bank of cloud up there, once that sun dips down in probably about 15 minutes time, it's just going to be a washout. So if you've enjoyed this, why not subscribe? Do really enjoy.
What he's trying to say is if you like what you see, give him a like and subscribe.
But for me here at Chesterton Windmill, I'll see you soon.